At first, I'd like to thank and congratulate Dr. Kazu and organization for your ability to create new paths. The genetic predetermination of chronic venous disease is responsible for most of our recurrences. Currently, we still know very little about which genes determine varicose veins, but we have progress in the understanding of how these genes would determine varicose veins formation. Current research tends to point out inflammation and oxidative stress as an initial genetic expression of the disease, similarly, which occurs in Alzheimer's, obesity, and atherosclerosis. But what is oxidative stress? Throughout the cellular process of energy formation, the radicals, free radicals derived from oxygen molecule, are released and naturally neutralized by some enzymes and vitamins. If something causes an imbalance of the system, there will be an excess of released reactive oxygen species. This will be harmful to other cells, being an initial part of the inflammatory process. The inflammation of the venous wall starts like this. Turbulence along veins involves activates neutrophils, causing oxygen bursts and consequently vein wall adhesion. So by this way it initiates the oxidative stress and inflammation process. This cascade effect will modify the structure of the vein wall. So how could the diet interfere in the prevention of inflammation and oxidative stress? They act by two ways: scavenging and suppressing free radicals, as well as protecting antioxidant defense, and reinforcing and avoiding the lack of substances that are part of the antioxidant system. Here, we present a summary of some compounds being evaluated according to their relation to varicose veins, the level of evidence, their bioavailability, and frequency. There is a good evidence for the action of flavonoids in the endothelial protection, while the fibers and fermentation, fish oil, and curcumin action have not been studied related to venous disease, despite their good anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects. As we can see in this table, there are only indirect evidence of this potential. To date, however, there is no evidence that any type of diet can interfere in the course of the chronic venous disease. This purpose would require an observational study with long-term follow-up. However, in vitro and in vivo studies support the evidence of positive effects of some bioactive compounds and on oxidative stress and chronic inflammation. They can be found in several kinds of foods, and it's very important due to the vast biodiversity and the possibility to find the same bioactive compounds in different regional foods. We have selected some examples of different foods which are relevant, which have relevant anti-inflammatory and antioxidant effects through different mechanisms, and referring especially to varicose veins. Flavonoids have been studied for their protective characteristics to the venous endothelium. Currently, they are recommended as a possibility of lowering risk of some inflammatory diseases. This observational population-based study found evidence between flavonoids intake and lowering risk of Alzheimer and related dementias. The same for related to coronary disease. There are more than 6,000 flavonoids. For those who wish to go a little deeper in the study of the individual mechanisms of flavonoids, we recommend reading this article. Essene. Essene is the major active principle from Esculus hippocastanus, the horse chestnut tree. In Brazil, we call it Castanha da Índia. Belongs to the saponin group. The saponins are used as soap due to its foamy properties. One of the most important sources of saponins is camote, or sweet potato. More complex polyphenols form the tannin group. Tannins, proanthocyanidins, protect plants from pests with their astringency. They can be found in many plants, such as grapes, green and black tea, cocoa beans, cinnamon, and it's one of the main components of pycnogenol. In addition to being a natural source of C vitamin, citrus plants are also rich in flavonoids, which protect them from oxidation. Hesperidin is one of the compounds of the diphthong. Rutin is one of the primary flavonoids. It can be found in copper's spice, peach, and green tea. Commercially available products based on rutin are, for instance, Relvan, Vinylrutin, and Parvane. Anthocyanidins are a group of flavonoids which give the colors red, purple, and black and blue to many berries. Whole grain phenolic acids are health-related and antioxidant active, is free radical scavengers in fact. These compounds represent 30% of total phenolics in the Mediterranean diet. Fermentation and addition of some enzymes to whole wheat bread help its bioavailability. Butter, from fiber and milk fermentation, have a potential protective effect on the venous endothelium due to its ability to reduce inflammation markers and to act as a T-cell modulator. The recommended doses of polyunsaturated fat acids could be obtained from frequent fatty fish diet. Supplementation of unsaturated fatty acids is proven to reverse the inflammatory markers of venous ulcers. Currently, more than 270 trials and more than 7,000 articles have focused on the effects of curcumin. Despite its low bioavailability, some reports have proven its effects from 3.6 grams. Other studies have shown Fats using turmeric surge enhancing absorption by associating pepper. To sum up, there is no superfood. We can find good bioactive components anywhere, exploring each regional biodiversity. A long-term dietary intake of flavonoids is supposed to reduce a risk of some inflammatory diseases. And there is a lack of studies analyzing the relation between long-term flavonoid intake and chronic venous disease. Here is the bibliography.